representatives from the UN Women, Fiji Multi-Country Office, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, representatives from the International Office for Migration, heads of civil society organizations, our media partners, and who will be part of this high-level panel discussions later on. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, Nisambula Vinaka, and a very good day to you all. On behalf of the Ministry of Women and the Permanent Secretary, I welcome you to this high-level media briefing and consultations for Fiji's National Action Plan to prevent violence against women and girls. One thing I'm always mindful of is when we talk about domestic violence, we seem to be focusing on women and girls, and we forget the children. And that's a very important part of the discussions that should be centered around preventing domestic violence, because we all know it does affect families and children included. So while our focus still remains on women and girls, please do not forget the impact domestic violence has on our children as well. We are here today because Fiji is facing an epidemic, and I am sure you sitting here as our stakeholders and partners are very well aware of that. This is a topic that is covered by the media. It's a topic that is discussed around our table, workplaces, when we share things with the survivors. In any discussions, these topics comes up somehow or the other. And so we know what our country is facing. We know what the Pacific is facing. And let me share you a very simple story with you. I was at a meeting in overseas some years back, and the name Fiji came up, and I had the tag Fiji in front of me. And when I had Fiji, I was like, oh, my country's name is being mentioned here at this high-level forum. But guess what they were talking about? They were talking about the high rates of domestic violence in Fiji. And here I was thinking they'll be talking about rugby or anything else, the beautiful climate we have in Fiji, the tourists, etc. But when they mentioned domestic violence, I had to hold my head down in shame. I think it's an issue that is very shameful. And shameful in the fact that we've been talking about this for years and years and years. Why are we not able to prevent it? So that's the reason why we need to have this national action plan and high-level discussions with all the sectors. And that's why the conversations regarding domestic violence must continue. It must continue. I'm not saying we are going to guarantee the end of domestic violence when we come up with a national action plan, because it has to do with behaviors, it has to do with mindsets, and it has to do with people. And people are very complex. It has to do with emotions. So it's a very complex issue that we are dealing with, and we must agree to it, that we have to take probably more serious action around it. How do we stop it before it happens? How do we make sure that our women and girls are not victims of it? How do we make sure that our men understand? I mean, I'm not saying women, I was reading something, women also lose their temper. Let's be honest about it. But here we are talking about changing mindsets about men in our community, and how do we go about finding other measures to ensure that the anger is diverted somewhere else. You walk away from it, or you learn anger management. So those are the things that we want you to talk about. And today we have the media here with you. You are very important players in this fight against domestic violence. How you report cases, which cases you report. 2 days ago, I was talking to this group of young lawyers from all the 3 universities who had organized a competition earlier this year, giving their views. And we spoke to them. And the law is also a very important partner in ensuring that we're able to curb domestic violence. But that's another sector they'll be talking to. Today, it's your turn, our media partners. And so in Fiji, if you look at the statistics, it's very important to have stats when you talk about issues. So in Fiji, 2 in 3 women experience violence in their lifetime. I mean, we all may have gone through some form of violence, whether our parents beat us up or our teachers beat us up. But here we are talking about intimate partner violence. And so 2 in 3 women in their lifetime experience this violence, often by the intimate partners, spouses and husbands, compared to 1 in 3 women in other parts of the world. In Fiji, 1 in 5 women have experienced sexual harassment in their workplaces. In Fiji, almost 1 in 3 girls have been physically and or sexually abused since the age of 15 years by someone other than an intimate partner. And these are the stats that I am quoting from the Fiji Women's Crisis Center National Research on Women's Health 2010 to 2011. And this is often someone girls know, like a male member of the family, an adult in their life, a neighbor, a community member, and so on. Anybody could be the culprit here. Almost 2 in 10 girls experience sexual abuse in Fiji before the age of 15 years. Again, I'm using the stats from the Fiji Women's Crisis Center National Research on Women's Health, 2010 to 2011. While Fijian women and girls bear the brunt of the violence, the impact in our communities and society for generations to come is impacted. That's harming us all. This is unacceptable. And of course, it requires bold and ambitious response. I mean, if you just take a second and think, have we been victims of this? Somewhere or the other, we may have been. I mean, I stand here as a big victim of domestic violence. My father probably was the worst man in my life. So we have to talk about it. Talk about it so it doesn't happen. There's no shame in sharing experiences. And that's what we want, bold answers to this horrible situation. So because gender inequality is at the core of the problem of violence against women and girls, gender equality must be at the heart of the solution as well. How do we bring about gender parity? How do we bring that about? Because we live in a very patriarchal society where there's always going to be balance of power. Even if the woman was any more than them, there's always going to be that expectation from this. We've grown up with that. You're still a woman, no matter what you do. Domestic violence cuts across all segments of the society, all socio-economic class of the society. Women go through this harassment. So global evidence now demonstrates that violence against women and girls is preventable. And yes, it's preventable within years, not a lifetime. You don't need to have a lifetime to prevent gender-based violence. If an evidence-based whole of population approach is advanced. And that's what we are trying to do here with the Fiji's action plan, national action plan. This is exactly what we are doing. Last year, Fiji embarked on a historic mission to develop a 5-year Fiji national action plan to prevent violence against women and girls, making it the first Pacific Island country and only one of the 2 countries globally along with Australia. Now that is something we must be proud of. And this was done to pursue an evidence-based approach to stopping violence against women before it starts. Once developed, the National Action Plan to Prevent Violence Against Women and Girls, in short, will be a roadmap for our country across all areas of our society, from sports to health to education to public to infrastructure to arts, and the list goes on, to meaningfully stop this violence in its tracks. The National Action Plan will also be an evidence-based roadmap, or plan as we call it, and one which involves the meaningful participation of the whole country. And that's what we are doing, looking at all the sectors. I am proud that the Ministry of Women and Children Poverty Alleviation is leading the National Action Plan development, and we are very closely working with our technical working group composed of government ministries, civil society organizations, our key stakeholders, support from the Pacific Partnership to End Violence Against Women and Girls. Let me put on record the work done by our partners and stakeholders, all the CSOs and NGOs. We have to be in this together. And this is what this National Action Plan is. Bringing all expertise together, putting resources together, and involving every sector of our society and hearing their voices through these kind of meetings that we're going to have and consultations. A national dialogue, like I said, in Talanoa is the heart of our National Action Plan's development. From the beginning, we knew that in order to progress, we would need to bring everyone into the conversation. I like this language that we use, conversation. It's very important that we talk. And we talk with conviction. Like domestic violence matters to you. Somebody's life matters to you. Another woman's pain and suffering matters to you. That's the kind of conviction that we need from everybody. So that's why the MC said to the media, you are part of these consultations. What has been discussed here, probably apart from my speech, you have to keep it within yourself. Okay? Not that someone goes out and says, oh, this media personal said that, so women are to be blamed, or men are to be blamed. There'll be discussions like that. People will come out very strongly. And that's what we want you to. Come out strongly. I believe that women should be treated equally. I believe that domestic violence should not be inflicted on any women and girl. So please talk about that freely. So today we are also pleased to be launching a report that shows the progress we have made to date in undergoing a meaningful participation in consultation process with Fijians across the country. Well, this year COVID delayed our consultations, but it did not stop our commitment in engaging the Fijians in every possible way. With a mix of in-person and virtual consultations, launch of a national online survey and engagement on social media, we have adapted and pivoted our approach to practice the value of inclusion that is fundamental in our action plan. The report encapsulates and highlights the hard work done by the technical working group, including those who you will hear from in the panel briefing today. This report also showcases emergent findings from consultations across key settings, which gives us a glimpse into the priorities that are emerging from Fijians on the path forward and what they want to take, what they want to do, what they want to be done to stop violence before it starts. So the whole focus you'll hear is we are talking about before it starts, violence before it starts. That's very important. With this in mind, in the first consultations in February 2021, we've talked to over 1,389 Fijians, 56% of our target of 2,500 people across the country. We have conducted 29 consultations in 7 settings: education, faith-based organizations, informal settlements, media, you are going to be done today, sports, legal and justice, workplaces and corporations, and we are going to reach our 2,500 people target hopefully soon. And with 2 population groups, youths and people living with disabilities. That's what we mean when we talk about inclusion. And when we launched the second phase of the I Am Digital platform for our youths yesterday, the second phase includes men and women with disabilities, and that's very important. Across all 4 divisions, including Bengal, Lau, Kandavu, Lautoka, Tavua, and many, many more settings. We utilize 3 strategies: in-person consultations, virtual consultations, and national online survey. With almost 2/3 of the participants being women and approximately half being young people between ages of 15 and 25. We look forward for more men joining in our consultations. And because we cannot have these conversations without the men. So as I look around, we have a lot of males from the media sector here, and that's a good news for us. I'm also pleased to introduce our interactive video and gallery of consultations that give a glimpse into the consultation process. We are into the final stages of the 16 Days of Activism. During this year's 16 Days of Activism to end violence against women and girls, the team behind the scenes of Fiji National Action Plan's development has supported a number of consultations, including the faith-based community, again, workplaces and corporations. Today, you are media partners. Let me say thank you to all the NGOs and CSOs and all those people who have been, marking these 16 Days of Activism. I've been following you on media, I've been reading the comments from the CSOs and NGOs, and it's very promising. That means we all are on the same page. Again, we have to have more action than talk. There has to be more action, and the National Action Plan will actually give us specific actions to deal with this. So ladies and gentlemen of the media, your role as media leaders, experts, and influencers is very vital in our fight, in our effort to address violence against women and girls in Fiji. This is our second media consultations. We conducted one virtual last month upon the request of journalists, and we are convening this gathering here today to include senior news and program directors. I believe today is a great opportunity for us to openly discuss our challenges. What challenges does the media face, and how we can support each other to prevent this. More awareness. And discuss how I also mentioned this, and also to discuss how we hold each other accountable to do this work. What is the role of the media? Is it reporting? Is it sensitive reporting? Is it selective reporting? we leave it to you. Some events get your attention, some is swept under the carpet, we don't hear it from the media. That could be reasons. We want to know that. So why do you follow one incident over and over again? Why do you not follow? Maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know something has happened. So sharing of information is also very important. The legal fraternity, the police, the justice, all come in to share that information. So, like I said, we need your ideas. Please hold our hands and see the best way forward. There is no doubt in my mind that the Fiji National Action Plan, our National Action Plan, will be very significant and a historic action plan, as it will be informed by invaluable experience. We need people to share that with us, knowledge, expertise across the diverse communities and settings in Fiji, a whole of nation approach. If we can't do that, then we should stop talking about gender equality. We should stop talking about gender-based violence if we cannot work together to find a solution. And this National Action Plan, if I may conclude, will be built upon a shared understanding of what causes that. And we are all part of that. We must be part of that, right? So let me end by saying that you are making this possible. You are making this possible, but together we are making this together. It has to be that. Otherwise, every agency, every government ministry, every CSO, every NGO will go in various directions. And this is one plan that has brought all of us together, because we only have one thing in mind. How do we prevent or stop violence on our women and girls? So ladies and gentlemen, with that word, I'd like to thank you for being here. I know you all have busy schedules, and taking time out to be on panels and discussions requires effort, and I must thank you and applaud you for that. For all the media partners here, let us work together. My humble plea, let's work together, like I said, with one thing in mind. How do we stop this? It's an issue for us. It's a very shameful issue for us. Let's put it that way. It's not a laughing matter. It's a very horrific, what should I say? It's a crime, you know that, right? It's a heinous crime, you know that. I'm not saying men are safe, we are all part of that. So if supposedly you say, what about men? What are you going to do to stop violence against men? Well, that was something that should come from you. But here we are focusing on women and girls, and like I added, the children and the family as a whole. I live with the traumatic scars of what happened to my family when it was my mom and my 5 siblings. So I'm very passionate about this, and I think we need to be emotional about this as well. Because inflicting pain and suffering on somebody is just not right. It's just not human, simple as that. So let's stop it by giving us your views. How do you see that? What is the cause of it? You may say, somebody may say, women are to be blamed for that because blah, 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 blah. If you want to say that, say it. But justify your statements, very important. Or you say, men get beaten too. Okay, media, you know better than that. Let us know that, okay? So we can stop this inhumane, inhuman behavior that humans have. Let's put it this way. When you inflict pain and suffering on somebody, it's a very inhumane act. But that act is done by who? A human being, right? So let's have a good discussion in a very civilized manner. I wish you well, and I wish you all the best for the festive season. May you have a Merry Christmas, and let's have a better 2022 next year. God bless you.